Hi everybody, it's Sally from Sally Stampers. Thank you for joining me today. Today I'm bringing you my Lots of Labels box. Like many of you, I'm sure I've had these Lots of Labels for ages and generally use them as labels. And I thought to myself, could I transform it into a box? And I did. I had a little play. This has just got 3 little chocolates in. It's got a magnet to close it. And I just thought that was really cute, and it's just another way of using up your labels, basically, as opposed to using them as a label on a card or as a label for a tag. I thought, I'm just going to make a box, and so I did. And it's dead simple, so I'm going to show you how to do it. So I'm starting off with 2 of the large die cuts, excuse me. So on this one I've used Cherry Cobbler, the Merry Mistletoe stamp, and I've forgotten the name of this paper. Hang on, I've got one here. I shall tell you in just one second. It is Be Merry Designer Series paper. Sorry about that. So Be Merry Designer Series paper, Merry Mistletoe stamp, and obviously some of our lovely tinsel trim, a couple of rhinestone embellishments, and as I say, there is a cute little box. So 2 of the largest dies that you need to cut from Lots of Labels. So you just cut 2 of the largest ones, and obviously that will then be your base and one will be your lid. Simple as that. You then need a strip of cardstock, and the thickness of it will depend on how thick you want your box. My box is 1 inch deep. So I've made this 2 inches because I need 1/2 inch for the top and 1/2 inch to the bottom, so that I can adhere it to the top and the bottom. Excuse me. So I'm just going to use my trimmer for this one because I don't really need my scoring board. This one's just as good. So like I said, you need 12 by 2. I then scored at 1/2 inch down one side, and that's not straight at all. Let's try that one again. That's better. 1/2 inch down one side, rotate and score again at 1/2 inch, making sure that it's straight. I don't know why it's going wonky today. So bar my little mishap there, we've got 1/2 inch top and bottom. And then we just need to go along and do our scoring. So we start with a 2 3/4, then 4 1/4, 5 3/4, 8 1/2, excuse me, 10 and 11 1/2. All of these measurements will be on my blog. The link for that is below, and all of the products that I've used are also on my blog, and the links for those are below too. So everything is all below. Easiest way to remember. So we're just going to fold and burnish our score lines, and I just need to make sure that I get the correct one with this one. Now you don't twist over, you little monster. There we go. And I'll make sure that that is maybe the bottom. Okay, so as I said, we just go along, fold and burnish all of these score lines, and what you're effectively doing is just putting a triangle, if you like, in the centre, in the edges, sorry. So when you've got your base down, it simply sits like that on top. So it's just like a, I don't know what that shape is actually. Should ask my son. He's the mathematician in the family, not me. Right, so we need to do some cutting. So this is obviously where your bit's going to join. So that needs to stay in place for the time being. So this is going to be the back of my box. So I'm going to leave that one in place, and I'm going to cut all of these out, bar this one, because I just want to keep that as leverage for my lid, if you like, and it will just actually reinforce it. So just go along, cut this one off, and although I'm not doing it, try and do it as straight as you can and go all the way to this last one, and that will be the hinge that holds your lid on, as you can see. And then for the bottom, we're just simply going to go along and cut wedges out of each join. So it's just a little triangle out of each join. It seems a bit dark today. I'm hoping that everything's showing up okay. It's really dark and grey outside, and I know that when I was making the other box I thought to myself, crikey, you're not going to actually see what I'm doing because it's so dark. So I'm trying to tilt a little bit so that you get the light from the window and you can see what I'm doing. So as I said, we just go along and cut our bits off. Get rid of that. So that's what you're left with. Looks like a train actually. So these are the little bits that we've cut out at the bottom. We've left that one and that one at the top, and obviously cut all of that away. So the first thing I did, and either way of doing these would probably be just as easy, I added some fuse to this bit and then just simply joined it up, making sure it's straight and in line. And as you can see, you will get a bit of extra because you're not going to have cut it at the same angle, so just give that a trim. So that's that done. So there's your shape, and if you just sort of tuck all those in, that's how it's going to sit on your base. Now the best way I found of doing this was to use the good old liquid glue, because it gives you that wiggle room to be able to manoeuvre it. And so I just went along all my pieces. Depending on what you want to put in this may be worth whether you do extra glue, you know, if you want it to be well and truly stuck. And I just simply started with the back, this piece here, and made sure that it went where I wanted it. Try and hold it in place, which isn't easy because it will move and mess about, and you will have to slide it a little bit. But I basically put it on, gave it a quick manoeuvre, excuse my head while I just get it straight. And I think that's not far, oh no, it's a bit completely wonky one side. There we go, excuse my head again, there we go. And as I said, this is why I've used the wet glue, because it gives you that option to move it about. Now, if you want to, and you're clever enough with angles and maths and stuff, which I'm not, you could cut another piece of card to stick in the middle, inside, so that it covers these tabs. All I did on this one was add some tissue paper because it's a cheat. You could also cut one out to cover the inside, but again, I just think nobody's going to look at the lid unless you're going to put a message in there. And I guess if you used the smaller one, you could just about maybe trim a bit off the bottom, but you could add a layer inside. This is a smaller one, and there, that would cover it, and it would add, you could add your little note inside or something. But so that's that one done. As you can see, it's not quite, this one isn't quite level. Make sure you're quick enough to have a play while this glue is still wet. It just makes it easier. So to put the top on, I didn't use wet glue. I actually used my fuse, and again, this is a bit of a tricky one. So I think instead of trying to be awkward, I'm going to use the good old tear and tape, because it's, you can't really get to it, and trying to put it flat and get the fuse in there, it's going to be too difficult. So I think we can just add a strip of tear and tape. Simple as that. So just trim it off, and remember to add it to the join here so that it will look tidy when this opens. So instead of fighting with it, I'm going to grab my piercing tool and just take backing off. And then all I did was made sure that, because as you know, when you die cut, you generally have what I always classed as a right and a wrong side. And if you can see, you've got the ridge here where it's been die cut, and obviously this side is a lot smoother. So I would class this as the right side, so I want this on the top. And I'm just going to tuck that in for starters. Make sure that I place my front edge here first, because that will make it easier, and then look over the top again, excuse my head, to make sure you've got it lined up, and then pop it on, and then very carefully open it. That doesn't look very straight to me, but I'm sure you will take a lot longer getting yours straighter. And then pop your lid on. And there's your box. Now sadly it won't stay shut because you've got this hinge here, and it doesn't matter how well you crease that, you're still going to have the hinge. So to stop that happening, I've basically used some of these little magnets, and they're ones that we use quite a lot. And all I simply did was put some fuse on here, and this is 1 by 1 3/4, so it's 1 inch wide, 1 3/4 in length, and I've scored it at 1, and then I've just used my envelope punch board just like that to round my corners off. So good old wodge of fast fuse on there, and again I just lined it up, eyeballed it central, and made sure that it was level, which that one wasn't because it stuck down before I had chance. So there's my tab now stuck on, and all I need to do now is add, wherever they've gone, they're hiding, here they are, glue dots to my magnets. So what I'm going to do is I've put a glue dot on the back of that one and add it onto there. I get my glue dot ready for the second one. Now normally I would put the glue dot on there, close it up, press it, and it's done. But you can't press it because you can't get it inside. So to make sure that your magnets are the right way round, because obviously if this flips over they're going to be opposites, so they're not going to stick. So what I'm going to do is literally going to pull this one apart, keeping it the way I've took it off, give that one a good squeeze, get the glue dot on the back of there, and then just make sure that when I put that wasn't quite meant to happen. Let's try again. When I place this one, I have to make sure it's in the right place. So just eyeballing it to about there, give it a real good press, get that glue activated, get it working, get that magnet stuck, and yes, that fits perfectly. And then open it and close it, and it's perfect. So we're just going to decorate it. So I've got my piece of tissue paper here to put on the inside, which I'm just going to scrunch up and pop inside. So you could use this for jewellery, a special little gift, something personalised maybe, or if like me you just want to add some chocolates, you can just stick some chocolates in. And then to decorate, I've just used Lots of Labels, because why not? So that's the next size down, which again is the one that I said you could use for the inside. So I've gone with this one, which is also the, excuse me, which also is the Be Merry. So get some snail on that, and dependent on which way you want your pattern, obviously just make sure you line it all up so that everything is equal, the gaps here and the lines at the top and the bottom. And I'm actually going to now bring in my big shot, because I've got 2 more smaller ones which I want to decorate the top with. So I'm going to use that one to cut out some green. And then I've just realised that I need to stamp before I cut the other one out, so we'll just move that away again. So there's my layered one. And then for my smaller one, I'm going in with the Merry Mistletoe, which is the coordinating one, and Christmas Wishes. And I'm actually going to do this one. I'm using my D block so that I can see what's going on underneath, and I'm actually going to do this one exactly the same with the red and the green, because I think that needs something different. So Cherry Cobbler, and I'm just stamping that in the centre. Give it a rub on my Stamp and Scrub. Excuse me, I don't know where this little tickle's come from today. And then using my Garden Green, I am just going to do this really pretty floral decoration at the top. I'm sure it's probably got a name, but I just called it that. And then I just sort of line it up over the top. It doesn't matter that that end bit's faded out, because I don't think all of it will be die cut out anyway. So let's just move that. So I need that one. Bring in the big shot again, and then, as I said, I just need to pop this on, and yeah, as I suspected, it won't all fit on, and luckily it cuts out the bit that didn't stamp properly. So just put that in place, run it through, get that out of the way. So there's my die. So I'm just going to pop some snail on this one and pop him on the layer. Let's pop him on there. And then dimensionals on the back. I've just popped 4 on there. Take the backing off. And oh, nearly put it on upside down then. That wouldn't have been good, would it? And then pop that in the centre. And then, where have I put it? Here it is, the silver tinsel trim. And I literally just make a bow with it. Pull that down a little bit, and just give it a little trim. A glue dot just on the back of it and pop it on the corner. And then if you want to, you can add some rhinestones. So I'm just going to use these medium sized, as I don't have any more big ones on this sheet. And you can add as many as you want, really. It doesn't really matter. It's all your own choice, isn't it, when you design these things. And there's my Lots of Label boxes, and I think they're really cute. Ideal for chocolates or any other personal gift that you want to add. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial today. As I said, all the details and measurements will be on my blog. The link for that is just below. And all the products that I've used are current and in the annual or Christmas catalogue. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, and hope to see you all again soon. Bye!